Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, peace and love. I'm going to be reading from the book of Isaiah 30, chapter 36 through 40. Bear with me as I try to get through this. Y'all willing, of course. The book of Isaiah, chapter 36, verse 1. And it came to be in the 14th year of sovereign Yisrael that Sanherib, sovereign of Ashur, came up against all the walled cities of Yehuda and took them. So this is in his time. This is in the time of Isaiah. This is no longer future foresight. This is what's going on in his time. It's just to give you context. Verse 2, and sovereign of Ashur sent the Rabshakeh with a great army from Lachish to sovereign Yisrael at Jerusalem. And he stood by the channel of the upper pool on the highway to Landerer's field. Verse 3, and there came to him Eliakim, son of Hilkiyahu, who was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and Joab, son of Asaph, the recorder. Verse 4, the Rabshakeh then said to them, please say to Yizkiah, thus said the great sovereign, the sovereign of Ashur, what trust is this in which you trust? Verse 5, I say, you speak of having counsel and strength for battle, but they are vain words. Now in whom do you trust that you have rebelled against me? Verse 6, look, you are trusting in the staff of this broken reed, Misraim, on which if a man leans, it shall go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh the sovereign of the Misraim to all who trust in him. Verse 7, but if you say to me, we trust in Yahuwah, our Elohim, is it not he whose high places and whose slaughter places Yisrael has taken away, and has said to Yehuda and to Jerusalem, bow yourselves before this slaughter place? Verse 8, and now I urge you, please give a pledge to my master, the sovereign of Ashur, and I give you 2,000 horses, if you are able on your part to put riders on them. Verse 9, and how do you refuse one officer of the least of my master's servants, and put your trust in Misraim for chariots and horsemen? Verse 10, and now have I come up without Yahuwah against this land? Excuse me, thought I had a sneeze. I hate when like a sneeze is gearing up, but it just disappoints you. That's like one of the worst. This is just one of the worst in like my opinion in life. Like a sneeze that never comes. The most annoying, one of the most annoying, anyway. And now have I come up without Yahuwah against this land to destroy it? Yahuwah said to me, go up against this land and destroy it. Verse 11, and Eliakim, Shebna, and Joah said to the Rabshakeh, please speak to your servants in Aramaic, for we understand it, and do not speak to us in the language of Yehuda, in the hearing of the people who are on the wall. Verse 12, but Rabshakeh said, has my master sent me to your servant? Has my master sent me to your master and to you to speak these words, and not to the men who sit on the wall, to eat their own dung and drink their own urine with you? That's just wrong. Verse 13, and the Rabshakeh stood and called out with a loud voice in the language of Yehuda and said, hear the words of the great sovereign, the sovereign of Ashur. Verse 14, thus said the sovereign, do not let Yisakayu deceive you, for he is unable to deliver you. He is unable to deliver you. Verse 15, and do not let Hezekiah make you trust in Yahuwah, saying, Yahuwah shall certainly deliver us. This city is not given into the hand of the sovereign of Ashur. Verse 16, do not listen to Hezekiah, for thus said the sovereign of Ashur, make peace with me by a present and come out to me. And let each of you eat from his own vine, and each from his own fig tree, and each of you drink the waters of his own cisterns. Verse 17, until I come, then I shall take you away to a land like your own land, in a land of grain and new wine, in a land of bread and vineyards. Verse 18, beware lest Hezekiah mislead you, saying, Yahuwah shall deliver us. Has any one of the mighty ones of the nations delivered its land from the hand of the sovereign of Ashur? Verse 19, where are the mighty ones of Hamath and Arpad? Where are the mighty ones of Zepharwaim? And when have they delivered Shomeron from my hand? Verse 20, who among all the mighty ones of these lands have delivered their land from my hand, that Yahuwah should deliver Jerusalem from my hand? Verse 21, but they were silent and answered him not a word, for the command of the sovereign was, do not answer him. Verse 22, and Eliakim, son of Hezekiah, who was over the household, Shemna, the scribe, and Yoah, son of Asaph, the recorder, came to Hezekiah with their garments torn, and they reported to him the words of Rabshakeh. So this man trying to convince the people like, yo, God is not with y'all. My king is coming to take over like he took over the rest of the lands. You might as well just, fall in, and they're not answering. The people was quiet, like the king told them to be, like not to respond, not to even entertain this person. But his men came back to report with their garments torn, because that's what they did when they heard, whenever bad news was spoken, people tore their garments, like they couldn't believe what they were hearing. So they come back with torn garments, like, man, this man talking crazy. He talking greasy. He talking real nasty about the Most High, and how the Most High isn't with us, and we need to trust in, just fall in, just give in. Chapter 37, verse 1. And it came to be, when sovereign Hezekiah heard it, that he tore his own And it came to be when Sovereign Yisakayu heard it that he tore his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth and went into the house of Yahuwah. Verse 2, and sent Eliakim, who was over the household, and Shebna the scribe and the elder of the priests, covering themselves with sackcloth to Yeshayahu the prophet, the son of Amoz. Verse 3, and they said to him, thus said Yisakahu, this day is a day of distress and rebuke and scorn, for the children have come to birth, but there is no strength to bring forth. Verse 4, it could be that Yahuwah, your Elohim, does hear the words of Rebshik, whom his master, the sovereign of Ashur, has sent to reproach the living Elohim, and shall rebuke the words which Yahuwah your Elohim has heard. Therefore, lift up your prayer for the remnant that is left. Verse 5, so the servant of sovereign Yishakahu came to Yeshayahu, Isaiah. Verse 6, and Yeshayahu said to them, say this to your master. Thus said Yahuwah, do not be afraid of the words which you have heard, with which the servants of the sovereign of Ashur have reviled me. Verse 7, see, I am putting a spirit in him, and he shall hear a report and return to his own land. And I shall cause him to fall by the sword in his own land. So the Most High is telling him, like, I'm going to put a spirit in him, like either a spirit of fear, a spirit of doubt, a spirit of, some kind of, basically to get him to go back where the hell he came from. Excuse my language, wherever he came from. This is what the Most High said he's going to do. So, yeah, this is what Isaiah is assuring them, like, yo, you good. Y'all all right. Y'all don't worry about, don't sweat this. Don't listen to him. Everything going to be good. Like, so he's speaking for the Most High. See, I am putting a spirit in him, and he shall hear a report and return to his own land. And I shall cause him to fall by the sword in his own land. Verse 8, and Rabshakeh returned and found the sovereign of Ashur fighting against Libnah, for he had heard that he had left Lachish. Verse 9, and he heard concerning Teraka, sovereign of Cush, he has come out to fight with you. And when he heard it, he sent messengers to Yisakahu, saying, verse 10, speak to Yisakahu, the sovereign of Yehuda, saying, do not let your Elohim in whom you trust deceive you, saying, Jerusalem is not given into the hand of the sovereign of Ashur. Verse 11, see, you have heard what the sovereigns of Ashur have done to all lands by putting them under the ban. And are you going to be delivered? Verse 12, have the mighty ones of the nations delivered those whom my father have destroyed? Gazan, the Haran, the Respheh, the sons of Eden, who were in Telazar. Verse 13, where is the sovereign of Hamath, and the sovereign of Arpad, and the sovereign of the city of Zarephaim, Hena, and Iwa? Verse 14, and Yisakahu received the letter from the hand of the messengers and read it. And Yisakahu went up to the house of Yahuwah and spread it before Yahuwah. Verse 15, and Yisakahu prayed to Yahuwah, saying, verse 16, O Yahuwah of hosts, Elohim of Yisrael, the one who dwells between the cherubim, you are Elohim, you alone, of all the reigns of the earth. You have made the heavens and earth. Verse 17, incline your ear, O Yahuwah, and hear. Open your eyes, O Yahuwah, and see, and hear all the words of Sanherib, who has sent to reproach the living Elohim. Verse 18, truly, Yahuwah, the sovereigns of Ashur, have laid waste all the lands in their land. Verse 19, and have put their mighty ones into the fire. For they were not mighty ones, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone, and they destroyed them. Verse 20, and now, O Yahuwah, our Elohim, save us from his hand, so that all the reigns of the earth know that you are Yahuwah, you alone. Verse 21, then Yeshayahu, son of Amos, sent to Yeshayahu, saying, thus said Yahuwah, Elohim of Israel, because you have prayed to me against Sanherib, sovereign of Ashur. Verse 22, this is the word which Yahuwah has spoken concerning him. The maiden, the daughter of Zion, has despised you, mocked you. The daughter of Jerusalem has shaken her head behind you. Verse 23, whom have you reproached and reviled, and against whom have you raised your voice and lifted up your eyes in pride? Against the set apart one of Israel. Verse 24, by the hand of your servants you have reproached Yahuwah, and said, with my many chariots I have come up to the height of the mountains, to the limits of Lebanon, and I cut down its tall cedars and its choice cypress trees, and I entered the farthest height, its thickest forest. Verse 25, I have dug and drunk water, and with the soles of my feet I have dried up all the streams of defense. Verse 26, have you not heard long ago how I made it from days of old, that I formed it? Now I have brought it about, that you should be for crushing walled cities into heaps of ruins. Verse 27, and their inhabitants were powerless. They were overthrown and put to shame. They were as the grass of the field, and as the green plant, as the grass on the housetops, and as grain blighted before it is grown. Verse 28. But I know you're sitting down, and you're going out, and you're coming in, and your rage against me. Verse 29. Because your rage against me and your pride have come up to my ears, I shall put my hook in your nose and my bridle in your lips, and I shall turn your back by the way which you came. Verse 30, and I shall turn you back the way which you came, by the way which you came. Verse 30, and this shall be the sign for you. This year you eat such as grows of itself, and the second year what springs from that, and the third year sow and reap, plant vineyards and eat the fruit of them. Verse 31, and the remnant who have escaped of the house of Yehudah shall again take root downward and be fruitful upward. Verse 32, for out of Jerusalem comes forth a remnant, and those who escape from Mount Zion, the Adar of Yahuwah of hosts, does this. Verse 33, therefore, thus said Yahuwah concerning sovereign of Ashur, he does not come into this city, nor does he shoot an arrow there, nor does he come before it with shield, nor does he build a siege mound against it. Verse 34, by the way that he came, by the same he turns back, and into this city he does not come, declares Yahuwah. Verse 35, and I shall defend this city to save it for my own sake and for the sake of my servant David. Verse 36, and the messenger of Yahuwah went out and struck in the camp of Ashur 185,000. And they arose early in the morning and saw all of them dead bodies. Verse 37, and Sanherib, the sovereign of Ashur, broke camp and went away and turned back and remained at Nineveh. Verse 38, and it came to be, as he was bowing himself in the house of Nisroch, his mighty one, that his sons Ardamelech and Sharzirk struck him with the sword, and they escaped into the land of Arat, and his son Ashardon reigned in his place. So see how that worked out for him? These people were talking against the Yah, talking against the Most High, talking against Yah, speaking against what they're going to do to his people, do to the land. And all it took was for, the people to seek the prophet of Yahuwah, Isaiah, inform him what was going on. Isaiah then spoke, the Most High then spoke to Isaiah to assure the people, like, I will answer you. But not only did, speak to Isaiah, their king prayed, humbled himself and prayed to the Most High. And gave the Most High all the glory, all the praise, all, the props and the credit. Humbled himself and asked for the Most High to deliver him. And the Most High heard their king. Most High heard Hezekiah. And he carried out as he wished, as he asked, as he prayed. He delivered them to the point it ended with the king of Ashur's sons, putting them down. His own sons putting them down. That's how it ended for the king who was supposed to come and do this and do that. Nah, not on. And the Most High sent he sent his messengers and dropped 185,000 of these men. Just dropped them. This is what the angels did. This is what the angels of the Most High came out and done. So there you go. Chapter 38, verse 1. In those days, Yeshayahu was sick and near death. And Yeshayahu, the prophet, the son of Amoz, came to him and said to him, thus said Yahuwah, command your house, for you are going to die and not live. Verse 2, and Yeshayahu turned his face toward the wall and prayed to Yahuwah. Verse 3, and said, I pray, O Yahuwah, please remember how I have walked before you in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done what is good in your eyes. And Yeshayahu wept bitterly. Verse 4, and the word of Yahuwah came to Yeshayahu, saying, verse 5, go and say to Yeshayahu, thus said Yahuwah, the Elohim of Dawid, your father, I have heard your prayer. I have seen your tears. See, I am adding 15 years to your days. That was strong. That was strong. Verse 6, and out of the hand of sovereign of Ashur, I shall deliver you in this city and protect this city. Verse 7, and this is the sign to you from Yahuwah that Yahuwah does this word which he has spoken. Verse 8, see, I am bringing the shadow on the sundial, which has gone down with the sun on the sundial of Ahaz, 10 degrees backward. And the sun returned 10 degrees on the dial by which it has gone down. Yeah, this is Yeah, this seemed like time going back. This seemed marker worthy. I gotta mark this point. If I can only find my writing tool. One second. Looking for my pen. Here it is, like right in front of my face. This seemed like the Most High turned time back. Like basically, this is what he was saying he was doing. See, I am bringing the shadow on the sundial, which has gone down with the sun on the sundial of Ahaz, 10 degrees backward. And the sun returned 10 degrees on the dial by which it had gone down. Verse 9, this is the writing of Hezekiah, sovereign of Yehuda, when he had been sick and had recovered from his sickness. Verse 10, I said, am I to go into the gates of Sheol in the prime of my life? Shall I be deprived of the rest of my years? Verse 11, I said, I shall not see Yah in the land of the living. I shall no longer look on man with the inhabitants of the world. Verse 12, my dwelling is plucked up, taken from me like a shepherd's tent. I have cut off my life like a weaver. He cuts me off from the loom. From day to night, you make an end of me. Verse 13, I soothe myself until morning like a lion, so he shatters all my bones from day to night. You make an end of me. Verse 14, like a swallow of a thrush, so I chattered. I moaned like a dove. My eyes look weakly on high. O Yahuwah, I am oppressed. I am oppressed. Overtake for me. Verse 15, what do I say? For he has spoken to me, and he himself has acted. Softly I go all my years because of the bitterness of my being. Verse 16, O Yahuwah, by these do men live, and my spirit finds life in all of them. Restore me and make me live. Verse 17, see, for peace I had what was bitter. See, for peace I had what was bitter. But you have lovingly delivered my being from the pit of corruption, for you have cast all my sins behind your back. Verse 18, for Sheol does not thank you, nor death praise you. Those who go down to the pit do not watch your truth. Verse 19, the living, he is praising you, as I do this day, and Father makes known your truth to his children. Verse 20, Yahuwah, come to save me. Yahuwah, come to save me, and let us sing my songs with string instruments all the days of our life in the house of Yahuwah. Verse 21, for Yeshayahu had said, let them take a cake of figs and apply it on the boil, so that he lives. Verse 22, and Yeshayahu asked, what is the sign that I go up to the house of Yahuwah? So we see that figs have some form of healing. Um, you know, figs have some form of healing. Healing benefits, for lack of a better words. I'm looking for another word, but yeah, we see figs have some form of healing benefit to a boil, a life-threatening boil at that. Whatever Yizikahu was dealing with. Chapter 39, verse 1. At that time, Merodach Baladan, son of Baladan, sovereign of Babel, sent letters and a present to Yisakahu, for he heard that he had been sick and had become strong. Verse 2. And Yisakahu was pleased with them and showed them the house of his treasures, the silver and the gold, and the spices, and the precious ointment, and all his armory, and all that was found among his treasure. There was not an object in the house or in all his rule that Yisakahu did not show them. Verse 3, and Yeshayahu the prophet went to sovereign Yisakahu and said to him, what did these men say? And from where did they come to you? And Yisakahu said, they came to me from the distant land, from Babel. Verse 4, and he said, what have they seen in your house? And Yisakahu said, they have seen all that is in my house. There is not an object among my treasures that I did not show them. Verse 5, so Yeshayahu said to Yisakahu, hear the word of Yahuwah of hosts. Verse 6, see, the days are coming when all that is in your house and what your fathers have stored up until this day shall be taken away to Babel. Not a matter shall be left, declares Yahuwah. Verse 7, and they shall take some of your sons who are born to you, whom you bring forth, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of sovereign of Babel. Verse 8, and Yeshayahu said to Yisakahu said to Yeshayahu, so the word of Yahuwah which you have spoken is good. And he said, because there is peace and truth in my days. So he knew he was wrong for showing these men around, these people around his house and showing them everything that he had. And he knew he was out of pocket. He knew he was wrong for that. And the Most High let him know, like, yo, since you showed these people all that you have, they're coming to take all that you have, all that you showed them. Not only are they going to take all that you have and all that you showed them, they're going to take your sons as well. And they're going to make Enochs out of your sons. And whatever, from what my understanding of Enoch, is like he's going to take their man, like he's going to take their man parts. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. What an Enoch is, with a not Enoch, but a Enoch, Enoch. If I'm pronouncing it right, Enoch, an Enoch. Like that's from what I've read. That's when you take the man parts, and it makes sense because it's like these men they're going to be in the palace of the sovereign of Babel. So sovereign of Babel is not going to want men with men parts around him, around his wives and all that. Like, you know what I mean? It's just wrong, man. That's just wrong. And Hezekiah, who knew that he was wrong, he knew that the Most High was just, so he didn't break down or get dramatic. He just accepted it, you know, because he knew he was foolish and he knew he was blessed with 15 more years anyway. He shouldn't be here. He shouldn't have been there. You know, so he didn't he didn't dispute it. He didn't, be down about it. He just accepted because, he was running on borrowed time anyway. Like the Most High gave him 15 more years to live. So he couldn't really complain. Even though his sons would be captured, couldn't complain. Chapter 40, verse 1. Comfort, comfort my people, says your Elohim. Verse 2. Speak to the heart of Jerusalem and cry out to her that her hard service is completed, that her crookedness is pardoned, that she has received from the hand of Yahuwah double for all her sins. Verse 3. The voice of the one crying in the wilderness, prepare the way of Yahuwah, make straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim. Verse 4. Let every valley be raised, and every mountain and hill made low, and the steep ground shall become level, and the rough places smooth. Verse 5. And the esteem of Yahuwah shall be revealed, and all flesh together shall see it. For the mouth of Yahuwah has spoken. Verse 6. The voice said, cry out. And he said, what do I cry? All flesh is grass, and all its loving commitment is like the flower of the field. Verse 7. Grass shall wither, the flowers shall fade, when the spirit of Yahuwah has blown on it. Truly, the people is grass. Verse 8. Grass shall wither, the flowers shall fade, but the word of our Elohim stands forever. Verse 9. You who bring good news to Zion, get up into the high mountain. You who bring good news to Jerusalem, lift up your voice with strength. Lift it up. Be not afraid. Say to the cities of Yehuda, see your Elohim. Verse 10. See, the master Yahuwah comes with strength, and his arm rules for him. See, his reward is with him, and his recompense before him. Verse 11. He feeds his flock like a shepherd. He gathers the lambs with his arms and carries them in his bosom, gently leading those who are with young. Verse 12. Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, measured the heavens with a span, and contained the dust of the earth in a measure, and weighed the mountains in scales and the hills in a balance. Who? Verse 13. Who has melted out the spirit of Yahuwah, or as his counselors taught him? Who has melted out the spirit of Yahuwah, or as his counselor taught him? Verse 14. With whom did he take counsel, and who instructed him, and taught him in the path of right ruling? Who taught him knowledge, and showed him the way of understanding? Verse 15. See, nations are as a drop in a bucket, and are reckoned as dust on the balance. See, he lifts up owls as fine dust. So he's basically, this chapter is depicting the only begotten Son. If you know, you know. Verse 16. And Lebanon is not enough to burn, nor is beast enough for an ascending offering. Verse 17. All nations before him are as a non-entity, and they are reckoned by him as less than a speck, an emptiness. Verse 18. And to whom would you like El, and what likeness would you compare to him? Verse 19, the workman mounds a graven image. The workman mounds a graven image, and the goldsmith overspreads it with gold, and the silversmith casts silver chains. Verse 20, he who is too poor for such an offering chooses a tree that does not rot. He seeks for himself a skilled craftsman to prepare a carved image that does not totter. Verse 21, did you not know? Have you not heard? Has it not been declared to you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? So not the, before I move forward, it is like he basically said, and to whom would you liken El? And what likeness would you compare to him? Like what likeness would you compare to the Most High? You can't compare any likeness to him. You can't. His only begotten son, maybe, but outside of his only begotten son, you can't compare no likeness of the Most High El, the Most High Yah. Did you not know? Have you not heard? Has it not been declared to you from the beginning? Have you not understood from the foundations of the earth? Verse 22, it is he who sits above the circle of the earth, and his inhabitants are like grasshoppers, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain and spreads them out like a tent to dwell in. Verse 23, who brings princes to nothing, shall make the rulers of the earth as emptiness. Verse 24, hardly have they been planted, hardly have they been sown, hardly has their stock taken root in the earth, when he shall blow on them and they wither, and whirlwind take them away like stubble. Verse 25, and to whom then do you liken me? Or to whom am I compared? Says the set apart one. Like, this is the one who blows and everything withers. Everything, is taken away in stubble. If he blows hard enough, he just hasn't been blowing hard enough to blow us away. But yet we think that we, are more than mere men for some reason. Verse 26, lift up your eyes on high and see, who has created these? He is bringing out their hosts by number. He calls them all by name, by the greatness of ability, and the potent of power, and a man is not lacking. Verse 27, why do you say, O Jacob, and speaking, O Yisrael, my way is hidden from Yahuwah, and my rights are overlooked by my Elohim? Verse 28, did you not know? Have you not heard? The everlasting Elohim, Yahuwah, the creator of the ends of the earth, neither faints nor is weary. His understanding is unsearchable. His understanding is unsearchable. Come on, man. Like, let's not disrespect the Most High. Like, his understanding is unsearchable. Verse 29, he gives power to the faint, and to those who have no might, he increases strength. He does. Verse 30, even youths shall faint and be weary, and young men stumble and fall. Verse 31, but those who wait on Yahuwah renew their strength. They raise up the wing like eagles. They run and are not weary. They walk and do not faint. Praise Yah. Hallelujah. 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 Praise Yah. Like that's just how we do, man. Those who trust in the Most High, truly trust in the Most High. And when I say truly trust him enough to follow his instructions to the best of your ability. That's trusting in the Most High. Trusting him enough to obey his spiritual laws like you obey the laws of men. Like you stop at red lights and you stop at stop signs, you obey the spiritual laws of God. This is those who trust in him. You know, when you truly trust in the Most High, that's what you do because you trust in an unseen entity enough to follow the instructions of an unseen entity. You trust in an unseen entity enough to obey the laws of an unseen entity. That's what shows who has trust and who doesn't. Who believes, who have strong belief and who doesn't. That completes the chapter. That completes the reading of Isaiah from I believe I started in chapter 36 to 40. I'm gonna end this live, but I'm gonna get back on and I'm gonna get into the teachings of the only begotten Son in the book of Matthew, as far as I can go. But this completes this reading for now. I'm going to bless us out according to the blessing that was given in the book of Numbers, chapter 6. Verse 23 to 26. The blessing that was given to Moses to bless the people. Receive your blessing. May Yahuwah bless you, barak you, and guard you. May Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. May Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you peace. Peace, love, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, peace, and love. I'm going to pick back up in the book of Matthew. So if you return, that's a blessing. God willing.